Inner Quest explores various pathways through which you can connect with the infinite wisdom of the universe and apply it to personal, professional, and spiritual growth. This program, featuring accomplished practitioners, educators, and authors, is provided by Infinity Foundation, an innovative center for holistic studies and research. We invite you to share this journey with us.
Hello, welcome to Inner Quest. My name is Jay Stone, your host for today, and our guest is Monica Yearwood.
Hello.
Welcome, Monica. Monica is going to talk about Ayurvedic medicine today. Monica specializes in Ayurvedic treatments for detoxification and rejuvenation. So the obvious question is, what is Ayurveda?
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me. Ayurveda is a medical system from India that's over 5,000 years old. And it's composed of two different words, Ayur and Veda. So Ayur means life and Veda means knowledge. So it's life knowledge. And basically it teaches that there are certain biorhythms in nature and that we can observe these biorhythms and we can live in accordance with them. So by syncing ourselves with these rhythms, we enhance a better state of health and mental well-being.
So why should our viewers want to know about Ayurveda?
Well, for starters, anti-aging and detoxification are two very strong interests today, and that those two concepts make the basis, really, of Ayurveda. When you're living an Ayurvedic lifestyle, you're always living a lifestyle of continuous detoxification. We're always cleansing the excesses, negative emotions, and stagnations in the body in accordance with the season and individual diet.
Okay. Now you mentioned the word detoxification a few times. Tell our audience what detoxification is and how Ayurveda helps to accomplish that.
Okay. Well, detoxification from an Ayurvedic perspective is ridding the body of excess doshas. So a dosha there are three primary doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And each dosha is made up of two elements. And everybody has all three of the doshas inside of their body. If they're normally functioning, they govern our physiological processes in our physical body, but they can become in excess. So detoxification in Ayurveda is ridding the body of the excess dosha.
Now, so how does one go about ridding the excess dosha?
Well, it depends on which dosha it is and how it's manifesting.
Is it done through exercise? Is it done through diet or certain beverages or fluids?
All of those.
Okay.
Yeah, it just depends on which dosha is in excess. So, for example, Vata dosha, when it becomes high, it tends to affect digestion and cause constipation. As well as nervous thoughts or anxiety. So if somebody came to me and they had an excess of Vata in their constitution, I would work with them by giving them different massage to do, like oil massage. And I'm sorry, excuse me.
We have some water here if you like.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
And now, so you're teaching your clients self-massage?
Well, we use different medicinal oils in Ayurveda. So, and the oils are infused with different herbs, and they have different effects on the body. So, somebody who has excess Vata, again, I would give them an oil that had like Bala or Ashwagandha in it to help reduce Vata. So it would help to reduce the anxiety, which is viewed to be a toxin in Ayurveda.
Okay. And you also mentioned rejuvenate or anti-aging. So how does Ayurveda helps to rejuvenate someone and how to slow the aging process?
in living a detoxifying lifestyle, we simultaneously are regenerating the tissues. So Ayurveda actually has one of the oldest forms of rejuvenation medicine that we know about. It's called Rasayana, and it means the path of juice. So in Rasayana, it's taught that as we grow older, our juice, our essence, our sap can be depleted by life. It can be. So all the practices in Ayurveda work to keep our juice up, or keep our sap or our essence up.
Now, is the juice something different from like ki, the life force, or prana, the life force?
Yes. Yeah, it is. The juice is the rasa, and it's extracted from the foods that we eat if our digestion is working optimally. And we receive it, like in meditation, we produce rasa as well. So that helps to increase immunity and essence.
Okay.
So.
And now, you've used Ayurveda on yourself. I guess you would be your first patient and your own patient every day.
Yeah.
So how has Ayurveda helped you?
It's given me purpose, so to be able to help others in their healing process. It's helped restore my digestion, and it's helped me reduce any tendencies to not complete projects, or to tend towards anxiety or nervousness, because I'm a Vata type. So those are my tendencies. So Ayurveda's kind of given me a language to live more in alignment with nature and reduce those principles.
How long ago did you start that?
Let's see. I started 10 years ago.
Okay. And so are there certain practices you do every day, or certain awarenesses you try to have to help you create balance?
Absolutely. Yeah, we emphasize dinacharya. So, and that just means daily practice. It's a huge part of Ayurvedic lifestyle, and it's just a process of checking in, doing your daily meditation.
Checking in with who?
Checking in with yourself.
Okay.
Checking in with yourself and engaging in some spiritual practice, whatever your spiritual background is, and having some practice during the day. Also, again, Abhyanga massage. So that's very grounding.
Now, you mentioned meditation. How often do you meditate?
Daily.
Okay. And is there once a day, twice a day?
I meditate once a day. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a better time for you to meditate than others?
Yeah, ideally we meditate when the sun rises. That's the ideal time to meditate. But whenever it's realistic for a person to meditate, is a good time.
Now, do you sit when you meditate? Do you lie down? Do you have a mantra?
I sit when I meditate. I do have a mantra, and I use different pranayama, or breathing exercises.
Now, did your Ayurvedic teachers give you your mantra?
They did not give me the mantra that I'm using.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, do you teach your clients meditation?
I do.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good. And do you give them mantras, or?
I do give them mantras. Yeah, if that's what if they're open to that. I always respect people's spiritual and religious traditions.
Okay. So now I'm getting very interested in what you do. So let's say somebody comes to you for an appointment. How does that? What steps do you take? Do you have them fill out forms?
I do have them fill out forms, yeah.
Okay.
I have
well,
them.
And what are you looking for in these forms?
Well, I'm primarily looking for why are they coming to see me, and what it is that they're looking for, and that could be a wide range of things. Anything from saying that they want more balance, or it could be that they have acid reflux, or they have a disease. So it just kind of depends primarily on why they've come, and then from there I customize a program for them.
And then how often do your and how long are your appointments?
The initial appointment is usually 90 minutes.
Okay. And then how often do your clients follow up with you?
Again, it's very individualized. It depends on what level of support that they want from me. So some of my clients I speak with on a weekly basis, and some of them I see once a month, and some of them I see once every 3 months.
Now, Ayurveda is ancient Indian, and I assume it takes in a lot of like the Indian cuisine and Indian herbs and spices.
Mm-hmm.
How can a Westerner practice here in Chicago area or Highland Park area?
Mm-hmm.
How can they practice? Is it necessary they change their diet to Indian foods, etc.?
No, actually, it's just learning how to see things from an Ayurvedic perspective of cause and effect. So everything has a cause and effect, and so just learning what the what creates that basically, and how to identify it, and you can apply that to any food item.
Yeah, it's funny you said everything you had cause and effect, and my mind goes, well, there's one thing that doesn't. That's
What?
God.
Okay.
You know, God, the unmoved mover,
Yeah.
or the spirit, the light, whatever one wants to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you are teaching classes at the Infinity Foundation. So why don't you say a few words what you're going to teach in your class?
Well, this class that's coming up is going to be a class on always being in a hurry and being in a stressful state, which is very common here in the Chicago area. So we're going to learn different breathing exercises to do and talk about the importance of practicing daily rejuvenation or rest, meditation.
Yeah, that actually could be a cause and an effect. Hurrying could be a cause and an effect of anxiety.
Yeah.
And which is the number one reason somebody sees, anxiety is the number one reason people see a mental health professional.
Yeah.
Good. Now, so these techniques to slow down, be in the moment, enjoy the moment, are they based on Ayurvedic?
Well, Ayurveda is from the same family as yoga, and they both have roots in the Vedic tradition, which is where Buddhism and Hinduism evolved from.
Mm-hmm.
So we tend to emphasize Vedic meditation because it's our family, you know.
Yeah.
But I support whatever practice as long as there's a practice.
Yeah. Do you actually know there's even a term doctors dub for people are in a hurry all the time?
No.
It's called hurried sickness.
Huh.
It was Dr. Friedman, who was a cardiologist. He was looking into he thought maybe there was something with people's personalities that made them develop heart disease, and it came to him because he noticed that the chairs in his office were worn away, the front of the chairs, you know, like the expression sitting on the front of the seat.
Mm-hmm.
And he noticed his patients would get up off their chairs a lot to ask, well, am I next? Am I next? When am I going to see the doctor?
Yeah.
So he studied people with cardiac disease, and that was, I believe, the number one indicator of cardiac disease was hurried sickness.
Wow.
Yeah, which is defined as trying to do more and more in less and less time. So now it's like, so do the opposite,
Yeah.
do less and less and more time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you talk about the medical aspect of Ayurveda?
Yeah, we have a really refined medical component to Ayurveda. We have a wide range of different herbs that we use, everything from herbal wines and different jellies that we use.
Herbal wines?
Yeah.
You mean somebody can drink it to be like sake or?
No, you don't quite drink that much. They've just been fermented. They've been fermented.
Oh,
so
like red wine vinegar or something like that? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little sweeter tasting. So.
Okay.
And then we have different jellies that we use, and we have a wide range of body therapies that we use as well.
And where do you get these products? The wines and the oils and the herbs?
Well, I try really hard to locate them here in North America, which is difficult because most of them come from India. But Ayurveda teaches that our environment always provides the antidote to our imbalance. So using things as locally as possible is always a good thing. So I have a few suppliers in America.
Yeah, I had a wonderful metaphor. I was taking a wild food foraging class in the Pocono Mountains, and the instructor said, well, see that plant over there, it's toxic. And she said, yeah, whenever it's the toxic plant, its cure or antidote usually grows a foot and a half away.
Perfect, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, and then the lifestyle component of Ayurveda. which is, I assume, going to be part of your class. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I touched briefly just on the doshas. So first, it's identifying what your individual mind-body constitution is, which there's 7 primary types, and the lifestyle is individualized to whatever your mind-body type is. So where one person tends towards worry or anxiety, another person might tend towards irritability and anger, like if they're in a stressful situation. Another person, maybe they retract and internalize everything, just for example. So Ayurveda has lifestyle practices to kind of help offset those mental tendencies we have, as well as digestive tendencies that each person has.
Yeah, it reminds me of this great word. Did you ever hear the word equanimity?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful word.
Yeah, and for those in the audience don't know, it's to remain calm and centered under stress and tension. So that's great. Let's see. Can you talk a little bit more about the constitutions? There's 3 constitutions, was it?
There's 3 primary doshas, and then they form 7 major types, mind-body types.
Okay, and is there anything you'd like to add? What would be helpful to our audience to know about their constitution?
Well, I think it just gives a language and a daily practice to the things that certain people tend toward. So, for example, Vata types tend towards disorganization, and they have a hard time with routine. So Ayurveda recognizes that and suggests doing something, ideally your meditation practice or your daily practice at the same time every day to help to establish routine in your life. Or Pitta types tend towards reacting to stress with irritability and control, and domineering. They're highly competitive. So Ayurveda says for those types, they should engage in more non-competitive sports and eat more cooling foods and do things to help reduce the irritability in their minds.
Okay. And I come from yin-yang Oriental medicine background, and so we talk about how some foods cool the body, thin the blood, and some foods warm the body, thicken the blood. And so tell our audience what foods are cooling and what foods are warming according to the Ayurvedic perspective.
Well, just very generally, all of your leafy greens and your vegetables are cooling. And
do they need to be eaten raw, or is it, let's say if you cook like kale or collard greens or mustard greens, does it still have the same cooling effect after you cook them?
You could augment it a little bit if you added pungent spices or other heating elements to it. But for the most part, they're still going to be cooling and bitter. So they reduce excess water out of the tissues. They're drying.
Okay. So what are some of the other cooling foods besides the greens? Well,
we also have cooling spices and herbs, like cilantro is cooling. Coriander is cooling, and they also have different effects on like some of them are detoxifying to the blood as well.
Well, I think coriander is good for the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and as somebody who was running hot, I would assume their heart is being taxed as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and which kind of brings up the thought that problems usually cross systems, from the cardiovascular system to the nervous system to the digestive system, etc. So what are some, well, since this is January, we're taping in January, what are some of the warming foods?
Well, in the wintertime, because our diet is seasonal, so how we eat changes with the season throughout the year, which is an aspect of the detoxification and reducing excesses. But we tend to favor foods that are more cooked during the wintertime than in the summer. And warming spices like cinnamon, ginger, a little bit of garlic. Those things are
Why a little bit of garlic?
Because garlic is one of these herbs that has a good side and a bad side. So you just want to be careful with how much you use of it. If you use it excessively, it's very heating. It's
Now, has anybody ever written any books or discussed how different constitution types or doshas get along with one another?
I would say the closest to that would probably be David Frawley, and he wrote a book called Ayurveda and the Mind, and he gets a little bit more into the psychological aspects of the doshas.
Okay. All right. Oh, and you mentioned that Ayurvedic, there's a connection between Ayurvedic and yoga. Can you explain to our audience what the connection between Ayurveda and yoga is?
Yeah, they're very intimately connected. They come from the same family. They're talked about as being the right and the left hand of the same body. So yoga gives physical practice, but also spiritual practice to becoming enlightened, essentially. And Ayurveda gives the healthful practices to maintain digestion, and they both kind of do that in their own ways. But Ayurveda even more so, keeping the physical body healthy, so that it's not an impediment to self-realization or self-actualization.
Now, I've been a long time practitioner of yoga, and I have a clean diet, but not through yoga. You know, and if you ask the average person practicing yoga, I would say most of them know very little or nothing about Ayurveda.
Yeah. Ayurveda is definitely in its infancy here in America. Deepak Chopra is probably one of the more popular leaders in Ayurveda, but there's...
I think I read a book about an Ayurveda by him.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So centers are opening up all over America. There's some on the West Coast and the East Coast, and
so you're kind of being a groundbreaker.
Yeah.
Okay. So how is your Ayurveda practice, say, different than others, or how is your Ayurveda practice different than people who do other techniques to bring people into balance?
I think one way that I'm different is that I really try to present Ayurveda to fit into our modern context, and I really work hard to provide research to show how Ayurveda is actually working in the body, and how to apply it in a modern setting.
Can you give an example from your clinical practice in which you used Ayurveda? You know, the ancient art of Ayurveda for someone living in today's society.
Just to give an example of that?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, well, a lot of people have a hard time sleeping today. Insomnia is a pretty big issue, and Ayurveda teaches to go to sleep at 9:30 at night. So for a lot of people to hear that, they may try to go to sleep at 9:30 at night, but when they lay down to do that, they just feel stimulated. So there's actual physiological reasons for that, and how artificial light affects the secretion of melatonin in the brain. It suppresses it, and melatonin is our sleep hormone. It triggers the desire to want to go to bed. So I've worked with people in doing things with their lighting at home, because you can get certain lights that don't suppress melatonin in that way, so people feel
full
desire to
spectrum
sleep.
bulbs, or is it something else?
It's not full spectrum, because it doesn't have the blue light in the light bulb. So full spectrum has all of the rays of light.
Sure.
But it's only the blue light that that suppresses melatonin secretion. So you can actually get light bulbs that don't have the blue light in them. And so you can change out your house light bulbs. And
Are there a specific name for those types of bulbs?
just blue light bulbs. Yeah.
These lights, you want the blue light?
You don't. Well, you want it during the day, but if we were in nature, then when the sun set, we wouldn't be exposed to blue light.
And do your clients have a difficult time going to bed at night, or going to bed at 9:30? I mean,
some of them do. Yeah. Yeah. The Vata types. The Vata types do, because they're very sensitive to external influences, and they're very stimulated and sensitive. So they have a longer time to wind down at night.
Okay. Any other examples? I mean, that was a great example of just doing something simple, no drugs, no big change in diet, just change in light. Any other examples where you can help people using the ancient art in today's modern world?
Well, another obstacle for people, because Ayurveda really emphasizes the idea that food is our medicine, and cooking and preparing food can be difficult for a lot of people who are professionals. They get home at 6 o'clock at night. The last thing they want to do is cook a classic Ayurvedic meal, which could take an hour to make. So, having people work to know each other, introducing others so that they can help each other in a more communal setting. So maybe people get together for potlucks and things like that to share.
Well, also, making food to last a few days, or there are healthier, quick options than like buying frozen food frozen vegetables that are all cut and prepped, and all you got to do is boil it or steam it and then add in the Ayurvedic spices. Okay. What's your take on supplements? Should people use supplements?
I think some supplements are necessary. Ideally, we're getting everything from our food, and Ayurveda traditionally, we do use herbs, but if everything were in an ideal world, no, we wouldn't. But we're in this urban environment where we're exposed to more stress and more toxins, so supplements, especially antioxidants, are really important.
Okay, and what antioxidant supplements do you suggest?
All of them.
Okay.
Specific.
Well, like some teas, like green tea.
Yeah, green tea is great. Even fruit powders. A lot of our herbs have a lot of antioxidants in them.
Now, fruit powders, would you take that in a pill form, or can you spread it on something you're cooking?
You wouldn't really spread on something you're cooking, but you could mix it with water, or you could add it to a smoothie.
So fruit powders don't have the fruity taste?
They do have a little bit of a fruity taste, yeah.
Now, we only got a minute to go, so this will be the last question.
Okay.
We talk about living in a city. What's good for oxygen in the lungs?
Breathing.
Okay, using the lungs properly.
Yeah, breathing, and because when we're stressed, we hold our breath, and when we're in fear, we hold our breath. So, conscious breathing, pranayama, meditation exercises.
Good,
yeah.
Good. And how often do you recommend people do their breathing exercise?
At least once a day, ideally twice.
All right, we'll leave that as at the end. All right, Monica, thank you. It's been a pleasure. For more information about Monica Yearwood, her class at Infinity Foundation, the Infinity Foundation, or the Inner Quest Talk Show, stay tuned to the credits at the end. Until next time, wish you good health, good spirits, and good fortune. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
For more information about this show, our guests, Infinity Foundation, or any of our other programs, please visit our website, infinityfoundation.org, or call us at 847-831-80.